Sergio Gutierrez fighting out of TXO Academy under Dominic Perez. And Dominic, in his own right, very well-known amateur, very pronounced pro. You know, a lot of fights in the cage, and you see Nico Echeverria in his cage. So cross-training with ACS, you know those guys are game. You know those guys are ready to go. They're ready to compete, and they always bring it. They always bring their heart, and they always bring their grit, and they come to fight every single time.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Dominic Perez's coach won a brown belt world championship in IBJJF.
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And if that's the case, man, that is very hard to accomplish. So the grappling competitor, the coach, often trickles down to the students. And yes, Sergio Gutierrez ready to make his Fury debut here. But I'll tell you, he's got his hands full with his opponent. His opponent's a bit of a madman.
I always like to see the amateurs when they're walking out as well, to see what their nerves look like. Do they look nervous? Do they look like they're shaking? Or do they look like they're ready to throw down? That's one thing I always like to see.
Definitely going to be a very interesting matchup. It's going to be good, and these guys are going to put on a fight just like our last fight.
We have Sergio Gutierrez in the Fury cage. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Jose Alcantar.
All right, so Jose Alcantar, he made his Fury debut in his last fight. It didn't quite go his way, but it was an absolute madman's contest. Walks forward, throws big shots. He's big for the weight class. He's a bit of a mystery here in Houston. He's from California, but he's training with the next level guys. And he brings a very heavy pace when he fights.
Like I said, it didn't go his way, but this is what amateurs are all about. It's all about getting in the cage, getting the experience, and learning. So I can only expect him to be getting better. It's his next time in the cage. He's been training with a really good gym, very good training partners. He's even cross-trained sometimes at forearms. On Saturdays, he comes and spars, so he's definitely been getting some good work. I know he's been training hard, and he's definitely ready to go, so I'm excited to see his improvements that he makes this fight.
Yeah, you guys see right behind him, Brian James. Brian James fought Fury amateurs so many times. He's actually going pro, and he's fighting Muay Thai specialist Emmanuel Calhoun. I mean, that is a fun fight. We see in our tail of the tape, two young bloods, Gutierrez, 24, to Jose Alcantar, 20 years old. Both guys making weight. Alcantar a little bit taller, but Gutierrez with an abnormally long reach.
Wow, yeah, we can see right now, looking at him, he's got long arms.
Yeah. All right, finishing up the pre-fight greasing process.
Lynch, one of the best in the game.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing the cutting in, you know, with a strong roll here in Fury. We didn't have those. I didn't have those when I was fighting amateur and pro, not for a little while. And they make it so much easier for everybody, so much more professional.
They save fights sometimes. They're able to stop cuts and keep fights from continuing.
I've had fights where guys didn't put enough gas, and I've had fights where I'm like, we need to wipe some of this off. It's too much. There's a certain art to it to put the right amount of Vaseline in the right spots.
All right, both fighters in the cage. Let's get this one going.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next fight, brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Featherweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. Representing TXO Academy and American Combative Systems, this mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 145.4 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, tonight, he makes his amateur debut. Here is Sergio Gutierrez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. Representing Next Level Training Center, this freestyle fighter stands 6 feet tall, and he weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Modesto, California, tonight, he seeks his first win as an amateur. Here is Jose Alcantar. Your referee in charge of the action, JJ Ferraro.
All right, we got some featherweights on deck, 145-pound fight. We just saw Alexander Volkanovski steal that coveted UFC featherweight title just last weekend. Both these guys pretty big for the weight class. I mean, quick wrestling game plan here.
Shot straight away, I like it. Mix it up, gets your opponent thinking, thinks you're just going to strike, and you grapple a little bit.
Cut to the back, looking really well. Looked like he tried to get a little bit of a wrist ride going, but couldn't quite get the grip.
Strong pressure on the cage here from Jose. I think he's looking for a little sweep, looking for a leg sweep.
Yeah, his coaches were asking him to chain wrestle, maybe go off into a single leg, pop the head out, go into a high C to a double. But Alcantar seems very comfortable here in the clinch.
The head pressure is also looking really good.
Now he's on a more conventional kind of wrestling entry, just a classic single leg takedown. Deep underhook though from Gutierrez. Oh, nice. Now these guys are just throwing some hockey punches. Oh, man, big right hand. Sergio is swinging for the fences there. We've seen Alcantar honestly do well in firefights in his debut. So he's not the kind of guy to get discouraged when the bullets really start to fly.
No, I think that's where they excel, really, when they get into the deep waters and they start throwing hard and they start getting crazy. Those next level guys are insane. You should see what they do in the gym, all the flying knees and the kicks and the throws. So they like it when it gets fiery.
Man, keep an eye on the right hand of Gutierrez. He's been nuking it. And that was the best one that had landed so far, but he's come very close. There's a nice right hand from Alcantar.
Alcantar's pressure is looking really good. Staying forward, throwing hands. Combos are looking really good.
It's a good knee there from Gutierrez. Another dig to the body.
These boys are in each other's face constantly.
Absolutely. He's starting to find his range.
Sergio Gutierrez has done a great job staying upright in this fight as Alcantar has gone for a couple pretty heavy takedown attempts.
He's got his hands locked here. He's got the leg sweep.
I like the foot trips on the cage. It's a little bit of an easier style to take him down, not using too much energy to try to get that ground control.
I'll tell you, the wrestling offense of Alcantar has made this round pretty challenging to judge, as I think Gutierrez probably landed the better punches, albeit, few and far between. But Alcantar has been the aggressor in this fight, has pushed the pace.
That's what makes these fights hard to score for these guys sometimes. One big one can change the whole round, but how do you score the other 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the round? So it makes it a little tough for these judges, and sometimes we give them a harder job for them than they need,
One thing I like to see right after the first round, especially a super hard round like that, is what are they both looking like on the stool? How did that first round affect them? And they both look like they're pretty comfortable. They sat down. They're not looking too labored.
Yeah, no one went really too crazy in that first round. They threw some big shots, especially Sergio, man. He was really looking for those big overhand rights and big right hooks, but he wasn't over-swinging them. He wasn't slopping when he threw them. A few of them, met the mark. But yeah, really great, really fun first round. A little more measured than our last fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we might see a little more fire. You heard Jay in the corner screaming his heart out. So we're probably going to see a little more fire. We're about to see, I think, some more combinations thrown. And I think this is going to be a good second round. Push the pace a little bit.
Right into it. A little bit of a slip there.
Yeah, rushed the action a little bit.
A good follow-up off of the drop, but we got a guillotine attempt in the mix.
It's under the neck. It's all about the leg positioning there, Gutierrez.
That's one thing we talk about is never letting your hands go once you start that guillotine off. You can't let go for a readjustment.
Jose finds himself in a dominant position right now. That underhook might cause him some trouble.
Yeah, we've seen some, decent submission threats there from Gutierrez. It's a good get-up. And that was necessary for Gutierrez because he was kind of gifted a takedown in that caught kick, just like that, but he ended up getting reversed almost immediately after. So I'm sure he's learned from his past exchange just seconds ago, of which he did. Now he's got strong back exposure. He's got a crucifix.
With the arm track.
He let the arm go. Elects to get on top with it. Good for Gutierrez. He chose the more conservative option.
Yeah.
He didn't go for broke on the choke, but he also didn't lose position.
Good scrambling from Jose. Put the work back to his feet.
We got a Kimura mix in here. See if you can't. Ooh, he's losing position on the guard.
That's going to be tough. This position in MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, it's a little bit different, but in MMA, that's a really hard one to pull off the bottom half guard. Not impossible by any means, but very challenging.
Absolutely. Big ground and pound away from Jose. Always starting to land.
Yeah, he's looking like Gutierrez is
man, those are good punches.
Sergio doesn't like it. You can tell by
Got to
the
watch
face.
his triangle choke. But he's a good job
pass.
pressuring with his head, yeah. Alcantar with the body lock there.
It looks like Gutierrez is starting to slow down just a little bit. Maybe the pace might be a little high for him.
Yeah, Alcantar did look like the fresher fighter going into 2.
See, JJ's keeping a really close eye on it as well. You know, it's one thing that I always say is as long as you keep moving, you're not losing. You gotta keep the scramble going. Even if you're tired, you gotta fake it.
Jose's doing a way better job this round of not giving the judges too much to think about. Dominating the round.
Oh, man, this is going to be a hard one to get out of, despite it being over the chin. A good rotation there from Sergio. That's the importance of you have to have both hooks to control those hip lines, or else they can spin and twist out of position.
Take his ass down. Take him for a fucking ride. Yes,
Really good wrestling. Really good
takedown
wrestling from Alcantar.
come on. Let's get some more punches. We're still around. Still around. Damn it.
Kind of sticking in an extended half guard, not getting too close, but now sealing it off. Beautiful shots from the top.
I'll tell you, Alcantar had a couple good flurries on the ground here in this second round.
Absolutely, and I think his coaches see that. You could hear his coaches in the corner, ground and pound, ground and pound. They see that that might be the way to victory in this fight.
A lot of really good control from Alcantar. The wrestling was really solid. The level changes, he really stayed on top of it the entire time. Beautiful round for him.
Absolutely, great control from Jose. Great, there's good scrambles both ways, but Jose did a good job of controlling it. And when sometimes you can't control it, just throw some punches, maybe land some combinations, and the other guys are scrambling. It's gonna work from there.
Yeah, in my opinion, the most valuable scoring in round 2 was the ground and pound from Alcantar. He had some really good right hands from the guard, and then also from that kind of like top half guard when he lost the back take.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Good second round. I think we can get that round to Jose. And don't know what the first round was, so you're kind of in your corner. You're telling them, hey, we still got to win this third round. We still got to get it. We might need to finish, both ways. You don't want to leave it to the judges. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it should be a good third round here.
Okay, he's tired. He's tired. Push that leg. One big shot.
Sergio heard one of the fans saying he was tired, and he flipped in the bird. That's awesome.
I don't think that's a fan. I think that's Jay Andretti.
Yeah, I should say, as a teammate of his opponent, I should say. Oh, man.
Oh, beautiful work.
Sergio tends to disagree with that.
Yeah, he took it to heart.
Find that second win with a little bit of anger. You can end up bringing some fire out.
It's a good right hand from Alcantar.
I like to use Sergio, see him use his length a little bit. He's got that longer reach.
And he's been having success with that overhand right, that right hand. So I'd like to see him maybe, if he can't set it up, pretend to shoot, maybe throw a jab, throw that right hand so he can get some leverage. But we see Jose here back to what he's been doing all fight, just putting that pressure on the fence, controlling him, and looking for the takedown, looking to get some more ground pound in.
Yeah, I think defending this takedown may quite literally be the deciding factor in Sergio Gutierrez maybe winning or losing this round. Because it's no guess as to what Alcantar sees as his path to victory, which is the wrestling, which he's been really, working heavily in this fight. It wasn't super successful in round 1, but it was quite successful in round 2.
He's really using the head pressure really well. He's getting his head right on the jawline and the chin whenever he's driving in for control.
I like Sergio to try to get his underhook, try to get off the fence and get back to space.
He needs that left arm under so he can look to peel and turn. And even if you can't turn your opponent all the way with their back on the cage, you can just circle to open water.
And you can see it's there, and he's even put it there, but he's not realizing that what it's needs for. There you go. Now he needs it to push off a little bit.
And then sometimes you can just be defensive and kind of catch your breath and look for an explosive exit, which is what he hit.
Absolutely. And he did a great job of doing that, too, to get off the fence, create some space, and get back to where he's been successful.
Oh, man, big right hand from Alcantar.
You know, Alcantar was looking really comfortable just walking forward, not allowing Gutierrez to get started.
Nice. I mean, this third round really is up for grabs.
Another right hand.
At 1 minute left. He's going to tell the whole story.
A fun fact for the amateurs, what sets them apart from the pros, is notice Alcantar had the full tie punch, but he's not allowed to throw knees to the head. No reinforcements to the head, so he threw those knees to the body. Also no elbows, also no heel hooks. Everything else is pretty much fair game in the amateurs.
Also 3-minute rounds.
Oh, that's
compared
right.
to the 5-minute rounds.
That's right.
So that makes a huge difference, especially as these amateurs get going, they start learning, they start growing. 3 to 5, big change. So.
Huge change, Jeff.
I like the 5-minute rounds. I like being able to have a little bit more time to get myself going, slow the pace down, and have a little more time to grapple.
Yeah, agreed. More time to calculate and plan, the better. Nice double leg there from Alcantar. Man, I think Alcantar's wrestling may be the deciding factor in this fight. Excellent contest. Great fight for these guys. A lot of heart shown. It was the striking of Gutierrez, and it was the wrestling of Alcantar.
Yeah,
and a really fun contest.
He did a great job of finishing on top and having the judge see him in a dominant position to end the round. Especially when it's close, it's always a good thing to end the round strong.
Gutierrez really tried to make that space the entire time and really get away, but he just couldn't deal with the movement and the footwork getting around Alcantar. He had solid wrestling with follow-up striking, and that's hard to deal with.
Man, good experience for these guys. Curious to see kind of how the judges are scoring everything tonight.
Yeah, the last decision was a 30-27, which I thought was a little interesting. So
I had the same thought myself, Mike.
So we're not really sure where the judges are, and I think they switch every fight, or is it the same judges?
They do rotate the judges out, yes, sir.
Okay, so you just never know. It's the luck of the draw sometimes. It depends if someone believes in damage more than the other, or how they see, or they believe the seed what damage is. So that's why we never like to leave it to the judges.
Yeah, I'd be curious the pattern, but there are 4 judges, 3 of which judge a fight, and they do change seats so they can get different perspectives.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And we have Wayne making his way into the cage, which means he has the judge's decision. Let's see how this fight was scored. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com. With scores of 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28, your winner by unanimous decision, Jose Alcantar.
Really good work from Alcantar. Did the work, had the solid wrestling, the follow-up striking. Really, really awesome win for him.